Wow, Leonard Ellerby claims that Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis actually sold 50,000 on pay-per-view and had a 1.7 million live gate. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Frequent Tank promoter Leonard Ellerby has come out and he said some things you guys got to pay attention. Numbers will never lie. The numbers will always tell the true story. The business will always dictate the current market value, always. That was the opening. The public decides who the star is. Tank is the star, period. The public decided their current commercial value is 50,000 pay-per-view buys in the last fight. They had a very good gate at 1.7 million. In what universe does someone think they can call the shots? You can't fool the public. So despite him not saying that it was Devin Haney, that's who he's referring to, because no one else recently is trying to call the shots with Tank other than Devin Haney, saying that, you know, the fight happens at this weight and no rehydration clause, no catch weight. And he's the only fighter that this makes sense because he's the only fighter with a recent pay-per-view. I mean, even Jake Paul's fight hasn't happened and it's tonight, and it's not even on pay-per-view. It's on regular DAZN. So we know who Leonard is talking about, and it's Gervonta Davis nemesis, Devin Haney. So he's saying that the fight, you guys see it. He's saying that the fight with Regis Prograis did 50,000 pay-per-views. Now, I seen there was different people who put out different numbers. I've seen some people say 100, some people say 150,000. Others came out and said it was two something, 250. Some people said it was 300,000 to 400,000. And me, I don't even know where any of these numbers came from, to be honest. That's why you didn't see me make a video about it, because I don't just go off of hearsay. I've been in the game long enough, and I didn't see anybody like a confirmed reporter or somebody involved in the event like Eddie Hearn come out and state the numbers. In fact, if we're being honest, DAZN in general, since they're a private company and it's not like network television or, you know, where you can look at the ratings for the Grammys or the Oscar awards, we don't really know. They don't really release the numbers unless they choose to release the numbers, right? Like if Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor had a good amount of watch time or whatever, good impressions, then they might tell you that. But from the past, they haven't really said much regarding numbers, right? And putting out, like even Canelo, when he was with them for X amount of fights, like his Golovkin fight, we don't know how much the Golovkin 3 fight did on DAZN. They never came out with a number, but then people were reporting Devin Haney, Regis Prograis numbers. And they were reporting them completely different than what Leonard Ellerby, who's in Vegas and, you know, has been involved in some of the biggest pay-per-views that we've seen. He's saying it's something different. He's saying that the live gate was good, but the commercial value of the actual pay-per-view was 50,000. He goes on to say, if anyone wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, it will always be on his terms. That is just simple business, not personal, which is exactly what I said. And you got a bunch of fools who they think Ego ain't been in the game, don't have context, don't know, you know, what's going on. But I told you that. At the end of the day, A-side, there's nothing new. It's always been there in boxing. It's always existed. Whether people like it or not, it's benefited some of your favorite fighters in different ways. People get mad at the facts, but I'm here to drop the facts. And the A-side has always existed, whether you want to admit it or not, which is exactly what Leonard Ellerby, who has worked with Tank for his whole career, is saying. He says, I've said all along, fights are made when they make sense for both sides. Fighters aren't scared, but the business has to make sense. An offer would be insulting, but the business dictates those things, not egos. That's how it works. You get paid what you weigh for big fights. That is facts. So he's telling you how it works. And he should know because he's been involved in the career of the biggest A-side of all time, Floyd Mayweather's career. And he knew for a fact nobody's going to tell Floyd once he achieved what he achieved and became the cash cow after beating Oscar, I do believe, De La Hoya. He knew nobody was going to come in and dictate to Floyd what happens. Like specifically, I remember Floyd Mayweather was going to have Canelo Alvarez fight on his undercard. This is all facts. I've been in the game that long. Floyd was going to have Canelo Alvarez fight on his undercard, and Canelo was going to fight Austin Trout. And Floyd would not promise Canelo that he would fight him next. And Canelo, being big-headed at the time, he was popular, and he felt the type of way about this. He felt, no, you promised me, Floyd Mayweather, you better promise that you will fight me next, because he had been calling out Floyd Mayweather for years at that point, or a couple years or whatever length of time. He had been calling out Floyd, and guess what? Floyd said, you don't run nothing. Did not promise that, and he did not commit to fight. He said, I'm fighting Robert Guerrero, and you're supposed to be on the undercard. You guys can verify and look all this up. I'm fighting Robert Guerrero. Let me get past Robert Guerrero. That's how I handle business. I don't overlook anybody. Let me get past Robert Guerrero, and then we can negotiate for me and you fighting. Now, ultimately, Floyd did fight Canelo right after the Guerrero fight. Look it up, right? But Canelo, being like an egomaniac and mad that Floyd Mayweather was not promising him, because I guess he didn't know he would get the Floyd fight for sure, and that wasn't good enough. So he removed himself from the undercard. That's why if you look at it, Floyd fought in May of that year, 2013 or whatever, and they moved the Canelo Trout fight to a different venue, and it became its own card because Canelo had enough pull and star power at that given moment, and Canelo fought 1 month before Floyd Mayweather. But initially, they were supposed to be on the same card, but obviously there was a clash of egos because you had two fighters. Canelo was the up-and-coming guy, but he had a good, a country behind him, and he had a good fan base, and he was undefeated at the time. So he felt that, I'm strong enough. Floyd better commit to me for the next fight. And Floyd's like, I don't do business like that. Scram. And that's why Canelo wasn't on the card. So fast forward to the future, the battle of egos, no pun intended, has always been a thing in boxing. And the true A-side, which in the case of Canelo Floyd, then and now, Floyd Mayweather's the A-side. Guess what? Canelo couldn't get his way. Even though he later got his way in terms of getting a Mayweather fight, he didn't get it how he wanted because he wasn't the A-side. And I'm telling you, that's the same thing with Devin Haney and Tank Davis. A lot of people, they want to say, oh, Ego, you're wrong. Oh, Ego, Devin will beat Tank and all that. You're fast forwarding to something that I'm not even talking about. You idiots are giving fight predictions, and I'm telling you there will be no fight unless these hurdles are hurdled. So it's no point to even break down the fight because, again, if you think you're going to dictate to the A-side, there will be no fight, and I stand on that. Someone says, some real irony in you finishing the tweet with the use of the line, can't fool the public, when the entire business model is fooling the public. Bro, the public determines what they want to pay for. You can't tell someone what they want to spend their money on. Facts. Devin Haney has confirmed he will not consider a catchweight or rehydration clause. Leonard Ellerby says, I'll say it again. The guys who bring the business will always dictate the terms. That's how the business works. So he keeps telling you what is going to happen. He says, in my opinion, what they did at the live gate is a good piece of business, but Tank is operating at an entirely different level. You can't dictate terms to the guy who's bringing the business. They are used to dictating terms, which is cool, but you can't do that with Tank. End quote. Floyd wanted the Oscar fight so bad that he had to take whatever he was offered. We told him he has to accept the terms or no fight. At that time, he wasn't in the position to dictate no terms, not one. So Oscar De La Hoya was the big pay-per-view star at the time. Look how things turned out. So Floyd Mayweather had to submit and like give in to Oscar's demands. Oscar got to choose, I believe, the ring size, the glove size. He got top billing. He definitely got the lion's share of money. I think he got a 67. What it boiled down to was about 67 to a 33% split. 67% went to Oscar and 33% went to Floyd Mayweather, the challenger.